Welcome back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown. Well, we all had a night to sleep on what was probably one of the worst hockey games I have ever seen the Edmonton Oilers play in my time in fandom. Decade of darkness, but at least in those games, you knew the Oilers were probably going to lose. But come the Stanley Cup Finals, you have to expect better performances than what we saw last night. An absolutely 6-1 drubbing by the Florida Panthers. They were better in every single facet. The Edmonton Oilers just fell completely into their trap, did everything they wanted them to do, tried to play their kind of game, and it completely backfired on them. It was a parade to the penalty box. The officiating, don't get me wrong, it was terrible, but it was not the reason that the Edmonton Oilers lost last night's hockey game. They absolutely have to be better in Game 4, and I believe they will be. As I called in my Fanatic rundown last night, I'm expecting the very best game from the Edmonton Oilers that they've played so far this year, and to get the series tied up. I talked about following the game that we might see some changes, possibly Calvin Pickard, possibly Troy Stetcher, possibly Jeff Skinner. Right now, according to head coach Chris Knobloch, he hasn't made his decision on who starts Game 4. He's certainly not blaming Stuart Skinner for Game 3. He said it was a total team-wide meltdown, and I agree with him. Stu has been absolutely amazing for the Edmonton Oilers as of late, so I don't want to rush to be changing goaltenders either. It's just Calvin Pickard is 6-0 in this playoff run. He's been there when the Edmonton Oilers need a bit of a reset, and I didn't really point it out as much in my Fanatic rundown last night, but that was more of my thinking, just giving the team a reset. Get Calvin Pickard in there just for a change. Get Jeff Skinner in there just for a change. Troy Stetcher as well. At today's practice, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was having a maintenance day. He's clearly battling something, as I'm sure most of the team is. We know Connor Brown's been in and out of the lineup. He seems to be okay now, but Nuge may be battling something now instead, so having Jeff Skinner in there may be a necessary change for the Edmonton Oilers. Right now, nothing looked too different in today's practice. It was a top line of Skinner, McDavid, and Perry. Skinner skating in Nugent-Hopkins' place there. A second line of Kane, Draisaitl, Kapanen. Third line of Frederick, Henrique, and Brown. Fourth line of Podkolzin, Janmark, and Arvidsson. On defense, Ekholm was with Bouchard, Nurse was with Klingberg, Walman was with Kulak, and Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard between the pipes, of course. And as I mentioned, no decision yet on the Game 4 starter for the Oilers, so we'll have to see what transpires here over the next couple days. But there was some fallout from last night's hockey game for Edmonton's Jake Walman. He was fined $5,000, the maximum allowable under the CBA for roughing Florida's Matthew Tkachuk when he got the punch into the face. And Walman was also fined $5,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct for an incident involving Florida's bench where he sprayed water at the Florida Panthers players. So I just can't believe out of all that, Jake Walman is the guy that's getting 2 fines there. I mean, I think fines are an absolute joke. They're not a deterrent whatsoever. I don't know, maybe for a guy making $775K or something like that, but I don't know. I think fines are just basically pocket change to these guys, so they're not a deterrent for much of anything. Suspensions, sure, but fines really don't do anything, and I just, like I said, can't believe out of all the things that happened last night, that's what we see from NHL player safety, so a bit of a joke to me there, so just wanted to share that with you guys. But other than that, I shared most of my thoughts on the game last night in the Fanatic rundown. An absolute joke of a hockey game, terrible officiating, and the worst game that I've seen the Edmonton Oilers play in a very, very long time. They sank down to the level of the Florida Panthers, tried to play like them, and it is not their style. They have to roll 4 lines, play strong defensively, give their goaltender some help, and they didn't do any of those things last night. So Connor McDavid said in his post-game availability last night that the best is coming for the Edmonton Oilers, and as I've mentioned a few times here, I think their best is coming in Game 4, and we will go back to Edmonton with this series tied 2-2. But that's all the latest for now, guys. No apparent changes as of yet. That's all for me for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts at this point. What do you think the Oilers have to do differently in Game 4? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel, and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.